is 9 p.m. in RTD. It's time to English New Edition. For tonight headlines, we have the head of state receives the new IGAD special envoy for Sudan. A gathering of commitment and recognition, the closing of the book fair. For the international scene, Hamas to give its response on Monday, hope for a truce in Gaza. Welcome to our newsroom. The President of the Republic and current Chairman of IGAD, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, received the IGAD special envoy to Sudan, the Honorable Laurence Korbani, at the Palace of the Republic late on Monday morning. The meeting between the head of state and Mr. Korbani served as a first contact between the two men. The audience was then used to draw up a general assessment of the situation in Sudan and to establish a hierarchy of issues and emergencies in this country, which has been the scene of the fratricidal conflict for over a year, resulting in excessive casualties, a deleterious humanitarian situation, and massive destructions of the development infrastructure of these sister nations. Above all, the discussion highlighted the perfect convergence of views between the two parties on the needs for IGAD's mediations in Sudan to give priority to the establishment of a ceasefire and the unimpeded delivery of humanitarian aid to the country. These are the immediate objectives on the regional organization's agenda in Sudan, influencing the protagonist party with a view to launching a political settlement process for the Sudanese crisis, which is expected to follow later. IGAD Executive Secretary Workneh Gebeyehu took part in this meeting between the President of the Republic and Korbani on the Djiboutian side, in addition to the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, the Ambassador of the Republic of Djibouti to the Republic of Sudan, His Excellency Issa Khair Roble, and the head of state advisors for diplomatic affairs, Ms. Fathia Jama Udin, took part in this event. For his part, IGAD Special Envoy for Sudan, the Honorable Laurence Korbani, said in an interview given to the press, the Special Envoy of IGAD to Sudan, Mr. Laurence, indicated that this meeting he had with the President of the Republic and the IGAD Chairman is the first contact since he was appointed. He praised the role of the President of the Republic and current President of IGAD and the Republic of Djibouti who participate in resolving the conflict in Sudan. Mr. Laurence added that the next step is to draw up a map to stop all the conflict between the conflicting parties in the Sudanese crisis in order to reach an official ceasefire. He concluded by recalling the urgent coordination of initiatives and effort to find solutions to the crisis in Sudan, but also to facilitate humanitarian aid for the Sudanese people affected by the conflict. For his part, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, said that the appointment of the new IGAD Special Envoy for Sudan is an important step in the organization's initiative to bring peace and stability to Sudan. As the Special Envoy indicated a year ago, a roadmap which begins by bringing together stakeholders and achieving a cessation of hostility. Then there is a political process to be put in place. The food aid dimensions of humanitarian corridors is also essential. What you need to know is that today the people are suffering, with more than 6 million displaced people having left their homes and 2 million to flee to foreign countries, and nearly 26 million are undergoing a major food crisis. The country is descending into the chaos. Prime Minister His Excellency Abdul Qadir Kamel Mohammed received the new Sudanese ambassador to the Republic of Djibouti, Mr. Mohammed Saeed Hassan, on Monday in the presence of the head of cabinet, Mr. Ali Saleh Abdallah, the Director of Communications at the Prime Minister's office, Shukri Ali Boulale. During the audience, the new ambassador emphasized his objective is to work towards strengthening the existing fraternal relations between the Republic of Djibouti and the Republic of Sudan. The ambassador praised the Republic of Djibouti's eminent positive role in the pacification and stabilization of Sudan, and the Horn of Africa. He went on to express his motivation is to work towards strengthening relations of solidarity, mutual aid, and economic exchanges between the two nations. The Prime Minister welcomed the new diplomat. On the sidelines of the annual meeting of the Islamic Development Bank in Riyadh, a fruitful meeting took place between His Excellency Ilyas Musa Dawale, Minister of Economy and Finance, in charge of Industry, and Abdallah Al-Musaybih, Director of the Operations Department to the Kuwait Fund for Arab Economic Development. This fraternal discussion is laid the foundations for a promising collaboration between Djibouti's economic development. The meeting was marked by mutual recognitions of the excellent relations between Djibouti and the Kuwait Fund, an alliance that has always served the country's economic growth. Particular emphasis was placed on the crucial needs to strengthen road infrastructure to ensure the resilience of the Djiboutian economy. The Minister Dawale stressed that the strategic importance of a resilient road infrastructure for Djibouti's sustainable development. In response, the Kuwait Fund pledged to actively support the Djibouti government development effort, notably by responding favorably to the request for assistance for resilient road infrastructure expressed at the recent roundtables on road sector financing in Washington. This announcement testifies to a shared desire to strengthen the partnership between Djibouti and Kuwait Fund, an alliance that is in line with a shared vision of economic progress and resilience in the faces of the development challenges. These advances promise a future marked by sustainable, inclusive growth. Also in Riyadh, the Minister of Finance had a fruitful meeting with Dr. Abdul Hamid Al-Khalifa, Chairman of the OPEC Fund, a key partner for Djibouti's development. Following fruitful discussions, an agreement was reached to reinforce the financing of the diversification plan as well as to support urban development and mobility projects in the region. This meeting marks a significant step towards consolidating ties between Djibouti and OPEC, paving the way for new opportunities for growth and prosperity for the countries. For his part, Djibouti's Minister of Economy and Finance, Ilyas Musa Dawale, highlighted the opportunities for growth between Africa and GCC countries and a panel discussions on trade and investment.
My brother Usman was talking about the nearest point of connecting GCC to Africa, which is actually Djibouti at the Bab el-Mandab. And it's actually 22 kilometers away from each other. So Africa to Arabia are only distanced from the 22 kilometers. I would emphasize from another perspective in terms of security, including. And I liked the message of the minister of, from Saudi Arabia this morning when it comes to building on the opportunities existing into the two continents, as well as in the solidarity and responsibility. And actually, Djibouti is facing a very serious migration issue, and mainly related to the climate and instability from the other side of the Red Sea. And we are observing minimum of 12,000 population migrant crossing Djibouti toward Arabia, toward GCC. And of course, transit point being in Yemen. So we are talking about demographic liability. That liability is not only within Africa continent, it's also going to be a liability to GCC countries, as well as it's already in other European continent when it's come to the north part of Africa. And so developing prosperity together will make much more sense. And here, what we observed from Djibouti is GCC's investors are much more risk takers, and they have better understanding on the challenge they might face. It's up to the respective government, because Africa is how you call it it's plural. We have multiple Africas. It's not one Africa. So we need to build ourselves proper conditions in terms of policies as well as governance, but most importantly, stability and peace will make the difference. If we have much more investment in Djibouti, it's because we are one of the most stable places in the Horn of Africa. Horn of Africa and GCC are not different from geopolitical perspective too. So opportunities exist. I would emphasize, in order to take advantage of the huge opportunity Minister Ngesu was explaining earlier, and opportunities are everywhere in Africa. So what all we need is how to connect when it comes to internal and continental connectivity at regional level and in state level. So we would really make it much more better and fruitful for both of the different.
Also, on the sidelines of the Islamic Development Bank's annual meeting in Riyadh, a fruitful meeting took place between His Excellency Ilyas Musa Dawale, Minister of Economy and Finance, and Mr. Abdallah Al-Musaibi, Director of the Operations Department of the Kuwait Fund for Arab Economic Development. These fraternal discussions laid the foundations for a promising collaboration for the Djibouti's economic development. The meeting was marked by mutual recognitions of the excellent relations between Djibouti and Kuwait Fund, an alliance that has always served the country's economic growth. Particular emphasis was placed on the crucial need to strengthen road infrastructure to ensure the resilience of the Djiboutian economy. Minister Dawale stressed the strategic importance of a resilient road infrastructure for Djibouti's sustainable development. In response, the Kuwait Fund pledged to actively support the Djibouti government's development effort, notably by responding favorably to the request for assistance for resilient road infrastructure expressed at the recent roundtable on road sector financing in Washington. This announcement testifies to a shared desire to strengthen the partnership between Djibouti and Kuwait Fund, an alliance that is in line with the shared visions of economic progress and resilience in the faces of development challenges. These advances promise a future market by sustainable and inclusive growth. Younis Ali Ghedi, Minister of Energy and Natural Resources, received Mr. Yang Xiaobin, Chairman of the China's Shandong Haiwang Chemical Group, a development prospect for Lakasal salt at the heart of discussions. The Minister of Energy and Natural Resources, His Excellency Younis Ali Ghedi, today morning received in his office Mr. Yang Xiaobin, Chairman of the Chinese Shandong Haiwan Chemical Group, parent company of the Djibouti chemical operators of the Lakasal salt, who is on a multi-day working visit to our country. He was accompanied by senior executives from his companies and its partner Salt Investment, including Mu Zude Zuolei, managing directors of the Djibouti Chemical, and Plain Weidong and Chen Aipin, respectively director and deputy directors of the Salt Investment. At the heart of the discussions between the Minister Younis Ali Ghedi and his Chinese hosts were the prospect for the development of the Lakasal salt, in particular the implementations of the agreement initiated by the two parties in Weifang on Saturday, September 23, 2023, during the ministerial working visit to the People's Republic of China, enabling Salt Investment SA and its partner Shandong Haiwang Chemical Company Ltd to produce calcium bromides in Djibouti and export it to the world market. Also on the agenda was an increase in the production and export of sodium bromides produced at Lakasal, as well as the development at the site of all salt derivations, industrial salt, caustic soda, and chlorine, and important steps in the industrialization process of Lakasal, a special economic zone destined to become the industrial lung of our country. Radwan Abdullahi Badoun, the Minister of Communication in charge of Post Telecommunication, today received a Chinese delegation led by the Ambassador of the People's Republic of China in Djibouti, composed of senior executives from the China Media Group and leading Chinese media companies. The delegation presented a memorandum of understanding on the partnership between the two countries in the information and communication sector. During the meeting, the Minister of Communication and Chinese delegation discussed at length the long-standing and privileged relations between the two nations, as well as ways and means of further strengthening them. Discussions also focused on the solid and lasting cooperative relationship with China in the field of information and communication technology. The meeting was attended by the General Director of RTD, Adan Abdi Jama, the Director of Communication and Media, Mr. Ibrahim Mir Ali, and the Director of the Djibouti News Agency, Abdrazak Dirane. On Friday evening, 2 days after the launch of the second editions of the International Book Fair, under the high patronage of His Excellency, the President of the Republic, Ismail Omar Guelleh, the Minister of Youth and Culture, Sahibu Momin Assowe, hosted a gala dinner in honor of the literary family and representatives of the international organizations. In addition to the Minister, the dinner was attended by national and foreign writers, representative of UNESCO, OIF, ALISCO, and several senior executives from the MGC. The dinner, crowned by a musical performance, was also an opportunity for His Excellency Hibu to thank the eminent national and foreign writers and international organizations whose support not only contributed to the success of the second editions of the book fair, but also gave this literary event an international reputation. The dinner ended in a convivial atmosphere of interactive exchanges and fruitful sharing with the traditional family following exchanges of gifts. As part of the Djibouti Book Fair, the Theatre of Salin Department hosted an evening of entertainment on Saturday featuring humorist and storyteller Seydou Abacha. The evening began with an opening performance by the group Jeep Dance, who set the legendary theater of Salin alight before giving way to Seydou Abacha, a master in art of storytelling, theater, and stand-up, who delighted Djiboutians on Saturday evening with a performance and one-man show to match. The evening kicked off with an opening performance by Jeep Dance, who set the legendary theater of Salin alight before giving way to Seydou Abacha, a master of storytelling. One-man show that lived up to expectations. Seydou Abacha's evening show was one of the highlights of the book fair, offering participants an authentic illustrations of the link between art and literature.
Vraiment, je salue d'abord la tenue de cette manifestation.
The Republic of Djibouti took part in the 50th conference of the Arab Labor Organizations held in Baghdad, the Iraqi capital. During this important meeting chaired by the prime ministers of Iraq, the organization's members stated the member state reviewed the activities and achievement of the year 2023 and examined the action plans and budget for the 2025-2026. Our country's contribution raised the debate on one of the priorities of the President of the Republic of Djibouti and his government, the future of human resources in the light of the technological revolutions and artificial intelligence, but also on the productions and sustainable work of the young people on digital platform. The Djiboutian delegation, led by our country's ambassador to Iraq, Abdul Qadir Hussein Umar, was made up of Mr. Osman Ali Muhammad, advisor to the Minister of Labor, Ismail Abdi Amir, representative of the UDG, Hassan Umar Rirash, UGTD representative, Mr. Rimi Sanad Khaled, UNED representative. Finally, the Djibouti delegation expressed its thanks to the Iraqi government and especially its Ministry of Labor for the hospitality and welcomes extended to it. Yesterday, the Acting Secretary General of the Ministry of National Education Vocational Training, Saleh Alwan Ise, and the Inspector of English, Mr. Abdul Karim, presided over the launch of English Week at the Center for Trainings of the Teacher, CFF. The event was attended by the numerous MENFOP executives and officials, as well as representatives of the U.S. Embassy and USAID, English teacher from schools, and CFF students teachers, including Omar Gelle Ahmed. The Secretary General stressed that this week aims to promote the English languages in the teaching and learning process. He also highlighted the crucial geostrategic positions of our country situated on the crossroad, at the crossroad of three major continents and one of the world's busiest shipping lane. He called for the exploitations of all the advantages that this position offers within the framework of the educational and training roadmap established by His Excellency the President of the Republic, Ismail Omar Guelleh. For his part, Mr. Abdul Karim, Inspector of the English, announced that this opening ceremony marks the 5th edition of the English Week celebration. It should be noted that the programs for this week dedicated to the English language includes numerous educational activities. These activities, which will take place mainly at the CFF and in the high school, will involve inspector, educational advisor, trainers, and the students teachers who will benefit from these high educational value interventions. Djibouti's State High School was the scene of a long-awaited finals of the Grand Concours Scolaire. This national competition under the aegis of the School Life Inspectorate in collaboration with the schools and inspectorate across the country is an annual event organized by MENFOP since 2017. It celebrates the sustained efforts of students and teachers through the school years. Not rooted in school curricula, encourages students to mobilize their skills in a multidisciplinary way, highlighting their creativity and critical thinking. The innovative project and scientific inventions presented at this year's event are perfectly in tune with the challenges of the 21st century and adapted to the local environmental and socio-economic context. They included the creations of eco-friendly size appliances and equipment made from recycled materials and powered by green energy sources such as solar, wind, and water. The event brought together not only students and teachers, but also school heads and parents, candidates from 31 schools, including 18 from the neighboring countries, enthusiastically took part in this annual event. Senior MENFOP officials, notably the Inspector General and the Director General, expressed their strong appreciation for the quality of the students' productions, as well as for the exemplary organizations put in place by the School Life Inspectorate. It's in close collaboration with the principal of the Lycée d'État de Djibouti, the latter having deployed all the necessary resources and ensured that the candidates took their tests under optimum conditions. The INCLD of Djibouti brilliantly organized the INCLD Caravan, an awareness-raising initiative which successfully rallied the regional and municipal councils under the aegis of the project participation of civil society in governance and local development in Djibouti, financed by the European Union and implemented by the IMF. Of Rustica stage took place on Sunday, 28 April 2024. This stage was led by the president of the Rustica, Mr. Ibrahim Said Badul, accompanied by his counterpart from Bulaus Abdul Qadir Iman and the first deputy mayor of the city of Djibouti, Fatma Mohammed Kamil, as well as the IMF project team. The meeting in Rustica, chaired by the president of the commune of Rustica, Mr. Ibrahim Badul, brought together around 30 participants, including local elected officials, representatives of decentralized services and local assistants, local association leaders, representative of the local CSO. These remarkable mobilizations made it possible to effectively disseminate essential messages of the management of local authorities and to strengthen links between regional actors. The INCLD Caravan also offered awareness and dialogue sessions highlighting the challenges of decentralization and promoting good local governance practices while encouraging citizens engagement for harmonious regional development. The enthusiasm of the participants and the warm welcome from the population contributed to the undeniable success of this initiative. The INCLD remains resolutely committed to supporting regional and municipal councils in their quest for sustainable and inclusive local development. As part of its Djibouti preschool reading activity, DEGRA, project to promote out-of-school reading among pupils in the school in the North, ADO Association has received funding from USAID. An important ceremony dedicated to the promotions and improvement of out-of-school reading was held yesterday morning in the library of the Tajora Alwan Dawood School. The ceremony was attended by the Tajora Education Inspector, the school's director, the FHI 360 representative, Mr. Ismail Suge, the president of the APE, CGE, and the Tajora program manager, the DIGRA project manager, and the president of ADO Association, Mr. Ibrahim Mohammed Ibrahim. A larger part of the event was devoted to community participation in improving and promoting reading at the home by setting up support sessions focusing on reading at home. Grade 5 pupils from the Tajora school were given the opportunity to show their pride and talent in belonging to the reading community through short sketches and poems pleading for the importance of learning to read. It was an opportunity for the association's president to remind the audience of the importance of reading from infancy onwards. He stressed the need for the PTA leaders to become more involved in instilling a taste for reading in our children, the central theme of the day. For the international scene, the hope of trust in Gaza, accompanied by an exchange of hostages in reborn, Hamas will give it its response to the latest negotiations with Israel. Within 48 hours, the construction of a floating dock to transport humanitarian aid continues towards a tangible trust in Gaza. While the Israeli army remains mobilized, Hamas will give it a response within the 48 hours concerning a possible ceasefire coupled with an exchange of hostages. The terms of the agreement were transmitted to the Islamist group on Saturday via Egyptian mediator in Cairo. Israel has already declared that these are last chance negotiations before a ground operations against Rafah. Media reports said Israel was demanding the release of 33 women, children, elderly, and sick people, while Hamas claimed to have only 20. But these reports have not been confirmed by Israeli officials. At the same time, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu remained adamant in his intentions to finish Hamas in Rafah. The Prime Minister also stressed that the ruling put by the International Court would not affect Israel war actions according to Times of Israel. And this is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.